What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here at GetCon 2017, having a good time and talking to Brian for PRS Guitars. Brian, thanks so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with me about this.
My pleasure.
Now, you have a pretty interesting role with PRS. It's not necessarily a traditional role, but it's kind of a very unofficial role. I think it would be best how you describe it.
Yeah, so I'm not an employee of the company specifically. I've known Paul and a lot of people there for a long time. I did work there way back in 1992 for a year, right out of high school, and then I left to make my living playing music. And about 10 or 12 years ago, I started a relationship with them as an artist. Started and doing some beta testing too for them. Like they would just get me a prototype to try, and I lived so close to the factory and was friends with everybody, and then slowly that kind of turned into a video demo here and there, and then a clinic, or hey, let's go to NAMM. And the past 2 or 3 years, that's kind of been half of my schedule has been things like this, or clinics and stores and all that. So sometimes it's really busy with them. Sometimes I'm not there for a while, but either it's a pretty sweet gig. I get to play like amazing guitars all the time, and
yeah, that's like probably one of the best perks of the job, I would say.
The hard part is not wanting them all. Like it's I don't need any more, and they keep making new things, and I play it and I'm like, I don't want this so much. And the more I have to noodle around on it for demos, it makes me just want it.
Well, I assume that's what it's like, working at, I've worked at pedal companies before, but not like the kind of catalog that, say, TC Electronic have, or an amp company like Joyo, or even the amps that PRS are making these days, which are sounding really darn good.
They are.
Just the constant increasing of the catalog size. And you're just like, I love them all so much, I kind of want them all.
The other hard part is sometimes getting to play the guitars that are just a prototype and or an idea that may or may not ever see the light of day, and you fall in love with that.
Ugh.
And either you have to be insanely patient, because you're like, not only can you not talk about it, but you're like, I want that guitar. And maybe that's a summer 2019 release kind of thing, and I'm going like, oh, hurry up, come on, because I want one.
Well, you guys provided us with a lot of really cool guitars, and I can't thank you enough for allowing us to use these exquisite guitars.
Guitars are meant to be played.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love that. Is exactly my philosophy. And I wanted to touch on some of the ones that we have hidden off screen, and also the one that you see right here. So why don't we start with the most apparent one?
Sure.
What do we have ourselves right here?
That's pretty much the guitar that started it all for Paul, the Custom 24. Originally just called a Custom because there wasn't a 22 fret option in the beginning. They were all 24 fret, double humbucker, trem guitars with, a very, very similar body shape. This has subtly changed a little bit over the years, but in the beginning he had 2 knobs and a little switch. One knob was a volume, one was a rotary pickup selector.
Right, yeah.
And then the sweet switch, which kind of emulated the capacitance that a 100-foot guitar cable would add. So just it rolled off a little bit of the highs. It was very subtle, but and then over time they added a tone knob, but there was still the rotary.
Right.
And then maybe 10 years or 11 years or so ago, don't remember the timeline, but they added the, no, it was more than that. It was probably, it was like 2000 or 99. They switched from the rotary to the 5-way blade.
Right.
But otherwise, the functionality still gives you humbucking sounds and blended humbucker and single coil sounds in with one motion. Instead of having to do a push-pull coil tap, you have bridge pickup. Here you have bridge humbucker with a neck single coil, both humbuckers, outside coils, neck humbucker. You have like a really cool variety and options with just one quick switch.
Yeah, this is the particular model that when I was first starting to learn how to play, like all the popular modern rock bands of the day, it was like the sound was a PRS
and a triple rectifier.
A dual or triple. It depended on how heavy you wanted to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the one that always was like, wow. And then other than this particular model, because I listened to Incubus back then.
Oh, yeah.
We have the one over here, which is about the same idea from what Mike was playing back at that time. And this is a Hollowbody II, or is this
Hollowbody II.
Okay.
So the only difference really between what the Hollowbody I was and the Hollowbody II is the Hollowbody I had one maple cap. It was a maple top, and the back and the sides were all mahogany.
Okay.
And of course, this is all carved. It's not a laminate, front or back. Even the back is carved. So the same size piece of maple that they put on one of these guitars that they put on top, they put in another block of maple on the back, and that all gets routed out from the inside. And so you have a fully hollow guitar, but carved top and back. So the Hollowbody II just has maple on both sides as opposed to maple top all mahogany.
Very cool.
For a long time, the piezo bridge that has the blended acoustic output,
Right.
This was the only guitar it came on until they introduced the P22 and P24, which now you can get just a custom 24 or custom 22 with the piezo bridge. It was maybe 5 years ago they were able to introduce that into a solid body. They reworked the preamp so it was small enough to fit in a guitar that wasn't this thick.
Cool.
And now that last year they actually added an option that you could get this without that if you wanted. If you were you wanted a traditional hollow body with less switching, less cleaner look. If you don't use the piezo, it's actually a little bit less money. You can now get the hollow body without a piezo bridge if you want.
Yeah, practically, I probably wouldn't go for the piezo bridge, but this is a look that is so...
It's gorgeous. It's classic.
It's a very timeless kind of design.
Yeah.
And it's something that I associate with, the beginning of my musical upbringing, so to speak. So the sound of that, especially, flicked up to the neck pickup with a bunch of treble on your gain sound, that's like the sound of Make Yourself and Morning View.
Absolutely.
Me.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a beautiful guitar, but my favorite is this one right here.
Yours and mine both.
This, oh man, this 594. You guys graciously let me use this in many videos over this week, and I've absolutely fallen in love with this. It has a very familiar form factor for me in terms of the control layouts, with the switch being on the upper horn, and then of course individual volume and tone knobs for the bridge and neck pickups. You have, your classic stop bar tailpiece with a tune-o-matic bridge.
This is actually Paul. It's very similar. It's Paul's design. It's based off of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he pretty much everything on the PRS is a proprietary design.
Right.
Paul's very particular. So I
can believe
if he wants something even 1% different than it's typically made,
right,
he's going to have it made to his spec. Even the knobs, the physical plastic knobs themselves, and the pickup rings, everything.
Yeah, you don't see knobs like this. These are something way different than what you could get in like a parts store. But the thing that's so interesting about this one, and you were mentioning, is that this has something on it that doesn't always come standard, and that's this rosewood neck.
The rosewood, the solid rosewood neck is an option, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, since I don't work in sales. I'm pretty sure that's only available in a artist package, which where you can add extra wood options or neck shape options or color options that aren't typically available. So this is definitely a special one for sure. The rosewood neck sounds great, but it feels like $1 million.
Yeah, it's got that really light finish on it. It's very quick.
Yeah, it's actually probably unfinished, just polished and oiled.
Okay.
Yeah. They may spray it with a satin, but I'm pretty sure it's unfinished.
It feels very, I guess the best word I can use is naked.
Yeah.
There's not much in the way of your hand.
It certainly doesn't get sticky.
No,
at all.
It doesn't. And I think that is something that I've really come as a player to really find myself starting to gravitate towards, because I can sweat a lot when I play. So the less gunk,
especially like outdoor gigs, and you're in LA where it's like gets warm.
Yeah, the less gunk in the way of my playing, the better off I am. So this has definitely become a desirable piece for myself. The top on it is absolutely beautiful. Do you know, is this like the faded denim finish?
Faded whale blue.
Faded whale blue.
So the whale blue was a very popular color, in the 90s for him. The emerald green, the whale blue. All of those colors, over time they sink into the wood a little more, especially if you're hanging your guitar somewhere where it's in direct light a lot.
Right.
The color can change over time, and people were bringing in guitars or seeing guitars saying like, I want it in that color, and it's like, well, that's whale blue, but that's not what it looks like when you stain it. So
right.
they worked on it's obviously not relic, but the idea is you're creating a finish that looks like what the whale blue would look like aged, and the Trampus green is very similar to that.
Okay.
Like the Zach Myers SE that's become really popular color. Trampus is named after a guy who works there who developed the color.
Okay.
But to me, it looks like a very cool faded green. It's like it's certainly not like emerald green, but it looks kind of like a green version of this. That
right.
kind of faded in look. It's gorgeous, and it's very three-dimensional.
Yeah, I absolutely love how deep that the color goes. It feels like it goes on for quite a long time.
Pretty much all of their finishes are multi-level stains.
Cool.
So they'll stain it one thing and often do a light sanding or a water wash, and then there's multiple processes, and that's really how they get that depth.
Very cool. Well, this has certainly been my favorite PRS of the show, and I did want to get your perspective on the event because I've talked to a lot of the YouTubers that are here. I've talked to some of the content creators and just a few of the helpers, but I haven't gotten a chance to talk to many of the companies. So as a company that has decided to take a chance on this first one, how have you found the event of GetCon to be?
Well, personally, I thought it was great in that, I think it's it's wonderful that Warwick, were so graciously hosted here, and there's just been a great feeling of camaraderie between all the different manufacturers. I've never been in the sales business. I've been a player my whole life, so I kind of see it more from that perspective. And I haven't done a YouTube channel, but I do videos for them, so it's like I'm kind of in this weird spot in between. But as far as I'm concerned, I was a guitar magazine geek my whole life. But I haven't really picked up a magazine in forever. It's just they're not.
Right.
It's like the way to advertise a product has changed so much just in the last 5 or 10 years, and that's why I do what I do with PRS. There wasn't a need for people to do YouTube demos when I was first started playing guitar. So it to me is that's what the future is like. I mean, if I hear of a new product and I'm curious, I wonder what that pedal sounds like, I go online and I try to find a YouTube video of it, and you go to the YouTube channels that you've heard before, and that this guy does a really nice job of getting the details across, or does a nice job of capturing the sounds of it. To me, I feel like you're going to reach more people that way than you would from a print ad. So I think it's great that these companies, Paul Smith included, all these companies are seeing the wealth and value in what this community is offering to the manufacturers. It's a win-win. It's a symbiotic relationship for everybody. It's like there's no sense in you demoing things if there's no products. And people need to let people know about their products, and it's like we should all be working together. And I think that's exactly what Henning did here. Is he saw the need for it, and he's like, okay, let's get everybody together. It's a little farther away from home for me than but I'm not complaining. It was a great place to come visit, but I can't speak on the numbers side of it. But I think even just opening this, the idea of it is fantastic, and I mean, it has nowhere to go but up. I mean, I could see that something like this getting huge.
Yeah. And the good thing for me on the content creator perspective is that I've had so much. I've done this for several years, and the thing that I always find so difficult is that when you don't already have an established relationship with a company, it's very hard to get that first toe in the door.
Oh, sure.
Forget the step.
It's like anything. It's like being a player in town and you're just starting. How do you get that first gig?
Yeah.
Once you're established, sure, you can. But it's like getting your foot in the door of any new thing is hard.
Absolutely.
And NAMM has gotten to the point where it's
you can't do anything there.
It's so chaotic and you can't. I don't even watch NAMM product demo videos for my own personal use, because it's like I'm not going to be able to hear what this thing sounds like. There's,
of course,
drums and horns blaring in the background, and it's just. And the fact that not only is this not that chaotic, of course, but it's multiple days. There's plenty of time for people to get together.
Yeah, it's been great for me to get that first contact now with companies that I've always wanted to, such as yourselves. I've always wanted to get in touch with these companies, but sometimes it's not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not the right place. Sometimes you're just not large enough to get the opportunity. But now we've had a chance to connect as creators and companies, and we're able to see value in each other, whether we're small or large.
Sure.
And I think it's a cool meeting ground for all of us. For me, I know when I'm establishing a relationship with a company to do video work for, it's always important, one, that I like the product, but two, I really want them to understand that I'm not trying to really get anything out of you other than an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And this, whatever this first video I do for you is just, I want to prove to you that I will give you something that you will be proud to have out in the marketplace.
Sure.
If you don't like it, that's fine. Just say, you know what, it was good, but it's not what we're looking for. Okay, fine. We know that. Let's move on. But then you hit the company where it's like, hey, we loved what you did. We want to do more. That first opportunity, that first connection, that's what I feel has been the big strength of this.
Yeah. To
have had the opportunity to use this guitar in so many videos is like a dream, has been a dream come true.
Yeah.
I've never actually been able to play a USA-made PRS for longer than maybe 10 minutes at a time, and here I have spent hours with one over the course of a week, and it's going to be in...
It's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be in several videos, of which I am very excited that it's going to be. So I can't complain. I'm glad that you guys have seen value in this, and I thank you guys for taking part in the first one.
Your enthusiasm on the product is also what it's about. I can't say as a manufacturer, because I can't, when people say, man, these guitars are beautiful, I never say thank you, because I'm like, well, I didn't really have anything to do with making them. But yes, I agree with you. But, it's like when we could tell when we're talking to people and we see the enthusiasm that somebody has for the product, and it's like, well, that's great. Like, we don't want anybody to feel like, you're not using these or, wanting to use these because you feel like they're out of reach, and I know that's not a cheap guitar.
No.
I totally understand that. And how do you get it to, but it's like that, again, it's just opening up line of communication, which is great.
Right, yeah. And
how's it been with, like, connecting with other YouTubers?
It's been great. I think the fact that we're all, and I've said this to many of them, the fact that as a YouTuber convention sort of thing, we've all gotten together in a singular genre. We share a commonality,
right,
and we share a headspace. Whereas other ones, I feel like, are too widespread in the material that they cover. So we're music specific,
right,
and that is a big strength for this, because we can all bounce ideas off of each other. We can all talk about the same thing, and we're passionate about it, and we enjoy it. And the fact that we have companies such as yourselves who have been like, yeah, I mean, we see value in this. Let's give it a shot, and let's see how far we can take this. I give everybody here, as a content creator, as much credit as I would give the companies, and vice versa, because this was an experiment, and I think we really succeeded with it.
I thought it was great.
And I can't thank you guys enough for agreeing to do this.
Yeah,
this was
great meeting you, and I'm sure we'll probably see you at NAMM, I guess, right?
I think you will. I think you will, and hopefully you get your Mayer amp soon.
As far as I know, I should have it before NAMM. I won't have it there with me, but hopefully there'll be another one to play. But yeah, I'll let you know.
All right.
You'll hear me, because I'll be turning it all the way up. And
I'm sure I'll hear it from miles away. Before we wrap up the video, let's plug what you do as a musician, because as you said, you're not officially an employee of PRS. You are an artist and a player.
But I'm here on behalf of them. I mean, obviously, go to prsguitarist.com. There's any questions you have about any of they've done a great job with the website. Beautiful pictures, of course, demos, and then my name's Brian Ewald, BryanEwald, and I have a website, schedule and There's some, there's a list of discography of a bunch of different things. Some of my own bands. I do a lot of session work with different people, but there's music to check out, and I get out on the road every once in a while. If you live on the East Coast, I play around a lot, but
cool.
Every once in a while I pop. Every once in a while you might see me pop my head up at a gig here and there. So. Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. That's Brian from PRS, one of the many companies that have chosen to join us here at GetCon 2017. You guys know what to do. Click the subscribe button when you see it so you don't miss the rest of the GetCon videos. Until next time, my friends, wishing you all great tone and happy stomping. Cheers.